we're basically gonna cut this right off, detach it. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn off my turbo smooth, let alone delete it off. I'm gonna unhide everything and go to my left. So I'm Alt W and then Alt W again to go to my left. I'm gonna hit Alt X. Oh, actually, let me grab that, Alt X, and then we're gonna start lining up this canopy right. So from here, let's take our vertexes and yeah, I guess we can start tweaking these out a bit, positioning these where they should be. You know, something on the lines of that. Now, if we wanted to get really accurate with it, we would actually, you know, you would actually texture some of this stuff. All right, so I'm just kind of shaping up this canopy a bit, and we're trying to get it to, at least line up to the reference somewhat. So I'm kind of grabbing these, and like I said, we can grab other other verts and just kind of help position it a bit. Alright, so we're gonna find out what we're gonna cut here. And looks like like I said, I'm aligning this to kind of go with the plane right there, the contour of it, at least the best that we can for now. Alright, so from there I'm going to double check my my model here before I decide to break those apart. Let me grab these. I'm going to kind of scale them in slightly. Something like that. I can probably bring them in. Oh, let's go back a little bit. Let's just bring them down slightly. Alright, let me throw one more turbo smooth before we go and commit ourselves. Alright, I'm just walking around the model. Looks pretty good. Turn it off. Actually, I'm going to delete it. Alright, so now we are going to select certain polys here and detach our canopy. So we're just going to go highlight right through these. And I'm holding down control as I grab multiples. Alright, so now let's go to our perspective and see if we got the right faces. I want to hide unselected. Alright, we look pretty good. Alright, from here, with those selected, I'm going to go ahead and I'm in polygon mode. With those selected, I'm going to go to detach. Click detach, and I'm going to call this canopy. I'm going to detach it. I'm not going to have any of these checked, so once I press OK, that basically detaches the canopy, but we want to reset our pivots here. Our pivot's way out here, so in order to do that, I'm just going to click here, activate the hierarchy, which I always call it like the little spaceship, and then activate pivot point, center it, turn it off, and now, canopy is right there. Alright, so now the next step is we got to build the groove. When we turbo smooth this, you're going to see a nice groove. Now this technique which you're about to learn here basically is the same way how you cut grooves in the automobiles or cars. The details like the doors, the fenders, and so forth. Especially even any other kind of hard surface model. Maybe like if you guys are doing robots, you might be cutting out details on their forearms and so forth. Alright, so I'm going to grab this canopy. I'm going to right click, hide unselected. The next step I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go and put a shell modifier on it. So I'm going to go to my modifier list, drop it down. I'm going to go shell. But let's unhide everything else again. When we shell, we don't want to shell the outer amount. So I'm going to bring this down. We want to shell the inner amount. So if I hide unselected, you're going to see it's the inner amount that we shell. And I just want to put a nice little shell on it. Something simple like that. Now, once we do that, I'm going to go ahead and collapse this again. And like I said, what's not being seen in the render, you might as well delete. So I'm going to convert this back to a poly. And we are going to painstakingly go through these polys, select them, and eventually delete them off. So as you can see, I'm selecting the insides. What you want to leave though is the lip right here. You want this to stay there. And you'll see as I get rid of the other faces. Oops, that's the ones we want to keep. Alright, let's go over here. Let's grab these ones inside here. Now be careful when you grab things. Make sure if you slightly see something move to Control Z back. Alright, so we got those insides. We want the outside lips to stay there. And I'm going to hit delete. Alright, now we've got rid of those faces. Now if you really want to see this shape without the back face coal turned on, well actually if you turn it on right here, the back face coal, you'll actually see the transparent, you won't see those faces. That's how it should look. Alright, so with that being done, I'm going to unhide everything, and then I'm going to select the body, hide unselected here, and we are going to not shell it, but we're going to grab this border here, and we are just going to use our scale tool, shift drag slightly, and tuck it in a little bit. Let me see if I did that right. So we are going to shift drag, and then I'm just going to slightly tuck this in, just like that. Alright, now we can actually bring these, I can actually take my scale tool and just kind of scale these out slightly like that. We want something like that. Now don't get me wrong, if you really wanted to, we would have shelled it, but that would have been a long process. So, alright, now with this lip being created, and if I unhide the canopy, so let me show you how this works. I'm going to grab the canopy, grab the body, hide unselect. Now if I throw a turbo smooth on the canopy, go up 2 iterations, I'm going to show ice line displays, and then I throw a turbo smooth on the canopy, up 2 ice line displays. As you can see, we're starting to get a groove right there. But what we want to do now is control it a little bit more, because we're not slightly having it completely controlled. I'm going to delete those turbo smooths and delete the turbo smooths off those, and I'm going to grab the canopy, hide unselected, and we are going to start controlling our edges. So I'm going to grab an edge right there, I'm going to ring it, connect it, and I'm going to slide this right against that. And if it helps, I'm going to grab this one again, ring it, and connect. It's usually max knows to do the opposite side in most cases. And so we got our, as you can see, I have our edge sliding over here. So I'm going to press OK. Now with that, with those 2 cuts, if I throw my turbo smooth back on, 2 iterations, ice line displays, we have a nice groove and it's nicely controlled. Now I'm going to unhide the body now. I'm going to grab that, hide unselected, so I'm just working on the body now. I do the same thing. I'm going to take the edge here, the inside edge. I'm going to ring it, connect, and I'm going to slide this right there. I'm going to grab the edge again. I'm going to ring it, connect, and I'm going to slide it the opposite side. About right there. Hit OK. Now with the turbo smooth on that, two ice line displays. Now you can see we have a nice controlled edge. So now I'm going to unhide everything. Grab both these, hide unselected, and now you can see we have a nice controlled edge line that meets. Now to take this a step further, you could leave them separate if you'd like, but I'm going to go ahead and delete the turbo smooth, and then I'm going to grab the body and delete this turbo smooth. As you can see, we had 2 turbo smooths on each of them. I'm going to take this canopy, attach it to the body. So it's all one piece, but it's not welded where it was detached, so they're still considered separate elements. But now I can just throw one turbo smooth, and it controls it the same way. I'm going to up it up to 2 iterations, or crank it up to 2 iterations, ice-line displays. And there you go, we have our canopy somewhat cut off and controlled. And later on, I guess we could add details in the future and stuff. But yeah, so far so good. So let me give a quick render here. And as you can see, we don't have no lights or anything in there, or no ambient occlusions going on. But at least we got the canopy and the body and the air duct done. Now our next step eventually will be working on the wings, and then we can come back for the propeller. Alright, hopefully you're learning as you're going, as you're watching these. So alright, we'll continue in the next video. We'll start working on the wings. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and start working on these wings here. So I'm hitting Alt W. I'm gonna unhide everything. Alright, now based off our wings here, off our reference image here, I'm gonna go ahead and line up my, my left reference image. I'm gonna just set it right in the middle here. Alright, and you know what? I'll possibly just bring this one, the front one, back slightly. Alright, now, based off the top viewport here, I'm just going to go ahead and get a box, auto grid it, and I'm going to go ahead and just click and make a box about the length of the wing and slightly raise it a bit, even though you can't tell from there. I hit Alt X, which is my X-ray. You can see I got kind of the length of the wing, or basically just a box laid down. Alright, but as of right now, the way we're going to model this, we're going to model it straight across. We're not going to rotate it any, or pivot it in any form, or any way right now, I should say. We're just going to work with the details first. So I'm going to stick to the front viewport. Alright, let me hit F4 so you can see my edges. Alright, the first thing I'm going to do is, let's go ahead and convert that to a poly, the wing that is. And then I'm going to grab these vertexes right here. And I'm just going to go ahead and match them up to the contour of the wing. And let's raise this, or, let's shift that one over here. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and hide my body for now. Alright, so I'm just working with the wing itself. Alright, I'm going to let you look at the side view. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and hide this one too, just to get it out the way for now. The side reference here. Alright, as you can see, here is what we got so far. Alright. Now, let me raise that up a bit, just to, so it's not lined up right on top of it. Alright, so now we got the basic shape here. I'm going to go ahead and make some connects here, and basically what I'm doing is just grab my edges and highlighting all the way through. Or, for example, you can just grab any edge if you'd like and just ring it, and that works just as well. So I'm going to go ahead and connect it once, and with this slider, I'm going to slide this and match up some of these edges here on the reference. So I'm going to have one right there by the wing. I'm going to grab these edges again. Let me just hit OK. I'm going to grab these edges again, connect. Now I'm going to slide these ones. Let's see, let's go right about here. Connect. I can do that again. I'm going to go ahead and highlight those edges, connect again, and then I'm going to slide right about there. And let's do another one right here. I'm going to go ahead and connect, and I'm going to slide this about right there. I'm just kind of using the reference image as a guideline here. As you can see, I'm, you know, just cutting right through it. All right, now let's go ahead and take one of these edges here, or we can, like I said, we can just highlight this through. I'm gonna go ahead and connect and slide this. Whoops, I don't want segments. I want to slide this. Let's say right about here. Press OK. I'm going to grab the edges again, highlighting through, connect. And then I'm going to slide this one, let's say right there. That looks pretty good. And you know what? Maybe one for good measure. We can connect one more time. So I'm going to just grab any edge. I'm going to ring it and connect. And I'm just going to slide this one somewhere right around there and just hit OK. Alright, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and we're going to start lining this this geometry to match kind of the contour of the wing here. Let me go ahead and deselect this. I'm going to unhide everything for now. Let me turn off this turbo smooth. Alright, and let's go ahead and hide that back. Alright, so we're back to our reference image here, or our, you know, geometry. So I'm going to grab these verts, and we're going to start matching this up a little bit. I know this needs to match up about there. We can grab these and just kind of line them up there. Let's see, I can grab this vert and just kind of line it up there. Take this vert, shape it out. Grab this one, we're just going to shape it out here. Grab these. As you can see, I'm highlighting through, so I'm grabbing both sides, you know, both verts. Alright, and that looks pretty good. Alright, let's see what else we got here. Let's go ahead and just tweak this out a bit. Alright, now with just that alone here, yeah, let's go ahead and line this one up. And you know what, I'm going to bring these all out. Oops, let me make sure I grab these. Alright, and then I'm going to go ahead and grab these. You know, and I'm possibly going to do one more cut right down here. So I'm going to take this edge, I'm going to ring it, connect. That looks pretty good. I'm just going to hit OK. And then I can probably tweak those verts slightly. Yeah, we can probably put that there and right there. Alright, so we got the base shape down of the wing. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and throw a turbo smooth on top of this. And like I said, you can see from here, we got a pretty thick wing, and it's just going straight across. We're not matching it yet to the reference image. But I do want to show you what happens when we throw a turbo smooth on here, because we're going to try to control our edges. Let me hit Alt-X. Let me go ahead and throw a turbo smooth. I'm going to go 2 iterations and isoline displays. Now as you can see, we don't quite have the control we want, because the plane, the drawings or the reference images, they kind of have sharp angles that represent the swing. So we're going to make some modifications of the swing here. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to turn off my turbo smooth. And I'm going to hide unselected. And let's go to this side of the wing. Let's go ahead and delete these inside faces, because we do not need them. Alright, so that alone will help us control our edges a little bit. So I'm going to unhide everything back again. Let me go ahead and hide the body. There we go. Alright. Now watch what happens when I start connecting certain edges to control my mesh. So I'm going to take this edge right here, and this is kind of a technique that's going to, like I said, this is good for car modeling and just trying to control, you know, the smoothness of your mesh and, you know, your angles when you throw a turbo smooth on it. So I'm going to go ahead and ring that, connect, and I'm going to slide this one right close to that edge. Now you got to be careful, you don't want to overlap it, you just want it right on the edge. hit OK. And then you have to do it on the opposite side as well. So I'm going to actually grab an edge here. I'm going to ring it, connect, and I'm going to slide this one on the opposite side. And I'm going to hit OK. Now watch when I turn my turbo smooth. We're going to see we're going to control this little hard angle here. Alright, and there we go. So now that's how we're going to control a lot of our mesh. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and turn that off, and we're going to add some more cuts. Grab an edge here, I'm going to ring it, connect, and Max is pretty smart about remembering where to put things, so I'm going to press OK there, and then I'm going to do one on the opposite side. Ring, connect, and I'll slide this one out just a bit. Alright, I'm going to do it right here as well, so I'm going to grab this, ring, connect, and that one's right on that edge, and then I'm going to do one on the opposite side. And Max should automatically have it there. Most likely, but I guess not right now. Alright, so but I'm just going to slide that one right over there. Alright, now with those cuts alone, let's go ahead and throw on a turbo smooth, and you can see that you know, we're starting to shape up that wing slightly. You know, we have better control of it. Still kind of a thick wing. When we're gonna still fix this up and shape it out. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna actually help the turbo smooth out by shaping the wings ourselves manually. All right, and that by doing that, we're actually gonna just go ahead and take an edge, ring it, and then we'll connect one last time here, and let's keep that at a 0. Keep it centered, just like that, and I'll hit OK.